Okay. I look a hot mess right now, I understand that. But I do want to rant like I am on a C-SPAN video of Trump talking about a space force, whatever he's gonna call it. Which, like, to be honest, with the way the world's going and how we've all predicted it for years and years, you can watch old films and all that, everybody talks about armies in space, so you know that was going to be coming at some point. So apparently 2018 is when we start talking about it. I thought it would be like, 2020, something like that. But in my mind, it opened up the idea of, wait a second. Last year I remember watching on C-SPAN a very excited, very cute Asian astronaut going off about exploration in space, how they are working up to the point that just civilians can go out into space and explore. So funding is already there from NASA to colonize on the moon, and then they were going to go to Mars. I was excited watching this. I love C-SPAN. I don't get to watch it right now because I don't have TV, but I freaking love C-SPAN. And this, you combine C-SPAN with a cute Asian, and I'm totally watching that. She was totally cute. So I'm like, flipping channels, there it is. So I sat and watched this thing about space exploration. And yeah, I'm telling you the reason why I was watching it was not because I was looking up space exploration. It's just something I watched and I saw on C-SPAN them talking about actually colonizing on the moon by 2020 or something, and then Mars, and then exploration by 2045. I just know that I'm going to be old when it happens, but I might still be alive. But yeah, the exploration, the missions, the things like that are already happening. And I'm noticing in the comments people are like, well, they should have colonies on there. They're trying, the budget's there, they're already working on it, it's something already planned. And I guess I'm the only one who decided to be all like, hey, this is cool. But if you look it up, it's probably still online somewhere, but it was like last year. I know that it was last year that I was hearing about it. I do know that, but at the same time, it's already in process. So with Trump saying that he wants to do a force, which in space, obviously, he has to work with NASA, is there budget for the force? Like a budget set aside for the force, or are they going to turn what they're doing for research towards this? That's the question I have. And I feel like I'm not coming across in the comments, so that's why I'm posting this, for that whole, just in case somebody who I'm talking to on there happens to want to see my point of view from my actual voice instead of in stupid words on the screen. I'm just asking questions. I mean, I'm not for or against it. I think it's kind of stupid. I really want research done first before we're like, okay, let's set up guns. Because I think knowing what you're defending would give reason to defend it. And if you don't know what you're defending, if you don't know whether or not it's something to defend, it seems pointless. But at the same time, like, defending stuff on Earth, I get that point. That point I understand. But if it's to defend what we're going for on the moon and on Mars, for the stuff that we're researching for the minerals and stuff, I don't understand defending that without knowing what is there. That doesn't make sense. And I also don't understand where they're getting the money, because since it is something brand new, obviously there's no money set aside for something that is being created. So since it is something being created, are they going to be taking from research in space and putting it towards a military in space? God, my hair is just a mess. I'm sorry. Because I'm just looking at myself. I'm like, ugh. Sorry, I'm getting off my point because of my hair, but hopefully you hear my point over my hair because it's loud right now. But my point is, where is the funding coming from? And are we still going to keep researching in space with the plans that we have already laid out for space exploration and colonization? As long as we stay to the plans that we already have and we don't, stop doing the research just to start this new project. Because, you shouldn't start a task in the middle of another task. And you're already on task for one thing. Are you taking from that task and putting it to something completely different? That's all I'm trying to ask. Seriously, Trump, where is the money coming from for this project? And are you stopping projects to do this project? Because that's all it is at this point, is a project, since it's something brand new. And it sounds pretty cool, not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a Trump supporter, nor am I a Hillary supporter. I'm trying to find the middle ground. I'm not here to fight over, well, because somebody tried to bring up the wall. We are talking about space exploration as well as space military. What does that have to do with the wall in Mexico? Don't bring up other points that he has or has not covered, because we are not talking about that point of Trump. We are talking about this one subject. So can't we just stay on this one subject of space? Space. Like this, you know, portal. But yeah, that's just my question and my point of view, because I have seen that about the space exploration. Because, like, I want to be a little old granny exploring space. I mean, for crying out loud, who doesn't want to? I mean, come on. But to halt that for a military? I mean, what the hell? Besides, the military up there will have to be pretty much the scientists and stuff, because you ain't physically fighting. I hope that you know that. Like, are you actually going to try to send troops up there to fight? Can't really fight floating around in space with a gun, so you are going to have computer techs as well as people who know guns and ships with guns and all that. Because it's not going to be hand-to-hand combat, so I don't know what they're going to do there. If they're actually going to be thinking about making rockets with guns on them, like you see in the sci-fi movies. That's an interesting topic to think of. Like, exactly what will these defense systems look like? Are we going to be like, ooh, are the guns inside and they pop out? Or are they just on there like on jets? Like, it's something fun to explore, because science fiction has been exploring it forever. So now we can actually think about, what will these ships look like? I mean, it is a fun discussion to have, but it also sounds comical, especially coming from Trump. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the guy, but at the same time, he is the president, so we have to discuss him as a presidential figure. But come on, like, whenever you were a kid, like, watching him in Home Alone and all that crap, did you picture that he was going to be fronting this country and saying we're going to have war in space? Like, I mean, I know he didn't say that, but that's pretty much what he's saying. Like, it's going to lead up to that. Probably not during his presidency, though. Because, come on, I hope Trump knows that he's not going to be president once this goes into action, because it's going to take decades to make. I hope he's not thinking, like, we're going to get this up while I'm president. No, no, you're going to get working on it while you're president. However, for it to actually get into the full in-space military, blah, 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 I know it's going to take a few decades. So, like, people getting pumped up, I'm just asking about funding. Like, where's money going? Are we stopping the funding to assist? Like, that's all I'm asking. But everybody's getting hyped up, though. I'm starting to notice people are getting hyped up. Oh my God, why is he doing this? They're doing the research probably so that they can see whether or not they can. Because to be honest, have you seen any actual research on bullets in space? Something to think about. Like, is he going to try to have guns in space going bang, bang, bang? And if so, exactly what kind of research are you going to do? Because I do feel like the pressure, depending on where you are at in space, is probably different. So you can test in one area, but the pressure might be different in another area. So the testing on whether or not bullets can actually function properly in space would be something cool that we might be finding out soon, within the next 10 years. I mean, there's positive points to it. You get these weird research things, like just things like the weirdest military stuff. Put it up into space. They're going to have to figure out how all that works in space, as well as how they're going to put it onto ships. There's years and years of research. So don't get hyped up and think that this is going to be happening now, because technically the research and the learning process is what's going to go on now. Because, dear Lord, if they're just going to be like, all right, we're going to put all the funding in making rockets with guns, you have to make sure that they will function. Because I hope they don't, I don't know, they might try that. But I would like to know the functionality of what you're using in space to make sure that you can use it in space rather than get up there with trillions of dollars worth of space crap up in space and then you use it and it like explodes on you or something. Like, yeah, I have to know. I know that you understand pressure and getting rockets up there, but rockets to fight? You never done that before, so do the research. I hope most of what's going to go on within his presidency is research about making a space force. Or maybe they've done the research, talked to him about it, and he's like, yeah, we can actually do this. Now, if the research is done and soon we're going to be getting documents about that research, I can't wait to read that. Because if they have actually gone into space, shot guns, and played around like that, I hope they have video. Because they would probably have to actually make certain types of guns. If you're like seeing if you can shoot them with your fingers, because they're gloves, like they're about this thick, because you know pressure in space and stuff like that. So they're in a capsule like that, trying to shoot a gun, get that something that thick around the trigger, like having to figure out what kind of guns you could use if you actually do have to get into a gun battle on a planet. I mean, again, war in space, anything could happen. You had to be prepared for every bad thing and every random thing that could happen. Thank God my brain thinks like that. So I'm like, well, if they're doing this and they end up stranded on a planet with a force that is against them, then they're going to have to know how to do hand-to-hand combat on a planet. You're going to have to plan for that. You're going to have to plan for, like, well, if your ship explodes, you just die. Boy, you're going to have, like, damage the ship and repairing the ship after a battle, if battles do happen. Definitely internet tech and stuff like that, making sure that that has a great system, seeing that you are in space around the satellites of not only your country but several other countries. Make sure those satellites do not interfere, which hopefully they already have the technology for that. But at the same time, by the time they're in space, we'll have even better technology that might actually, you know, hacking might be a little bit easier for that crap, so you gotta defend against that. There's so much that you had to defend against while going up there to defend. Even if you are the first force, you have to think your technology will be spread around, because since you said, hey, we're gonna have a space force, other countries are going to do it. Like Japan is probably already on that, like, we already got guns up there, we just didn't tell you. You know, like, it could be like that. Or we could actually already have them up there. Trump just spilled the beans. Because why not? If you're shooting satellites up there, put guns on them. There could be guns and stuff already. You don't know. You don't know what the government has and has not told you about this space exploration as well as space defense. So you don't know what you know, but you do know what they've told you, and let's just go on that. But those are my views and my ramblings about that subject. So if you are coming here because you saw me on the C-SPAN thing ranting and raving about budget, that's why. Because I want to make sure that we can still explore. And yes, I am almost 30, so please don't think that I'm just some kid in college. No, I am 29 years old, 2/13/89 if you want to know for sure. And those are my political views. Peace.